Hey loggers, I want to thank you for your support so far. Together we can build a wonderful community and expand this creepy universe even further. Help me reach 500 subscribers. Something very big is coming. Now without further ado, when we reach 500, the next door opens. What waits beyond is something I can't face alone. Join the logs. Stay aware. Stay afraid. Let's dive into today's story. My friends warned me before going to Brightvale High. I soon learned why. They told us detention lasted 30 minutes. What they didn't tell us was that time doesn't work the same way in that place. Not after 3:40 p.m. They didn't mention how the hallways twist, how the clocks melt, or how you can hear jump ropes slapping tile floors even when no one's holding them. They didn't say anything about the silence. The kind that settles over your chest like wet linen, or the teachers, if that's what they still are, watching from impossible angles with faces they never turn toward you. They don't tell you anything, because once the bell rings and the lights flicker, it's already too late. You're in it. You're part of it, and whatever happens in there during those 30 minutes, you're not supposed to remember. It started like any other Monday. I was assigned detention for something stupid. I think I was late to chemistry too many times, or maybe it was because I called Mr. Brenner a fossil in a necktie in the hallway. Either way, I didn't care. Detention was a joke. 30 minutes of silence, maybe a few worksheets, nothing I couldn't survive. The last period ended at 3:10. Detention began at 3:40. That 20-minute window between normal school and the other version is the last safe time. And no one warned me. Not the front office lady who handed me the pink slip. Not the janitor sweeping near the lockers, who stopped moving the second I walked past and whispered something that sounded like, "Don't run." Not even Gavin, a senior who I know had been through it, who looked at my slip and just said, "Try not to look at the clocks." 3:40 p.m. That's when it starts. It doesn't happen with a flash or a bang. There's no announcement. Just the hallway lights dimming one bulb at a time. The floors groaning like they're breathing, and that smell, burnt pencils and wet metal. The classroom I was sent to, room 112, had no teacher when I arrived. Just 2 other students. One girl with smeared mascara who never looked up from her desk, and a boy I vaguely recognized from lunch who had his hoodie pulled so far over his face it looked like he didn't have one. The second the clock hit 3:40, the hallway outside shifted. I don't mean metaphorically. I mean the floor physically rotated, like a Rubik's Cube, dragging the lockers upward and folding the exit door into the ceiling. One moment you could see the world outside through the glass pane. The next, just drywall. And silence. I swear it only took a second, but when I blinked again, we weren't in room 112 anymore. The walls had stretched. The desks were spaced out hundreds of feet apart. The windows were now inside the room, suspended mid-air and showing nothing but static on the other side. And standing near the chalkboard was a tall figure in a gray suit, unmoving, no face, just the idea of a face. It never looked at us, but I felt it watching. The girl with the mascara got up, walked to the wall, and stepped through it like it wasn't there. The boy in the hoodie vanished when I glanced away, and then I was alone. For the next few minutes or hours, I walked the halls. They changed with every turn. Sometimes I'd open a door and find a gymnasium filled with hundreds of identical mannequins doing push-ups in total silence. Sometimes it was a bathroom that stretched endlessly, the mirrors all fogged except one, which showed me standing still even as I moved. At one point, I saw a group of children, second graders maybe, playing soccer in the auditorium. Their faces were all blurry, like overexposed film. One of them kicked the ball straight up. It never came down. They just kept playing like it had. The walls pulse in some places, like a heartbeat under concrete. Ceiling tiles open and close like mouths. At exactly 3:57, yes, I looked at the clock even though I shouldn't have, I found a stairwell made of lockers that folded upward into a hallway I swear hadn't been there before. As I climbed, I heard jump ropes hitting the floor. No voices, no kids, just the sound, rhythmic, echoing, somewhere nearby. When I reached the top, I turned a corner and saw them. 5 teachers standing in a row against the far wall. Still, motionless. Each wore a different color suit. No faces, no hair. Their heads were all turned to the corners of the ceiling like they were watching for rats. And all at once, they twitched, like a slide stuttered in a broken video. And I ran. I don't remember getting back to the room. But at exactly 4:10 p.m., the end of detention, everything snapped back. The walls folded, the windows blinked, the lights returned to that sickly school yellow. And I was back in room 112, chalk dust still in the air, only me. The desk across from me had a name carved into it, J. Cho, 1987, and dried blood under the letters. I don't know who that is, and I don't want to find out. No one asked me about detention. No one ever does. The teachers pretend it's normal. The students never mention it. And if you push too hard, they just look at you like you're asking about something that never existed. But now I've got a pink slip for tomorrow. Another 3:40 appointment. And this time I'm not the only name on the list. I saw hers, and his, and mine, already crossed out. The second pink slip came without a reason. No teacher gave it to me. It was just on my desk after lunch, folded once, written in red ink, Detention, room 001, 3:40 p.m. You already know why. There was no room 001 on the school map, but I knew where to go. Or rather, I felt pulled to it. A weight in my gut dragging me toward the east wing, down a hallway that never seemed this long before. I passed empty classrooms, one after another. The lights flickered, The walls stretched, and with each step, the air got heavier. By the time I reached room 001, the school was already shifting. The door creaked open by itself. Inside was nothing but desks, hundreds of them stacked and bent in impossible directions. Some floated, some were nailed into the ceiling. Others bled ink from their corners like they'd been wounded. There were 2 other students waiting already. Gavin was one of them, and the other was a girl I didn't recognize, but she looked exhausted, like she hadn't slept in weeks. She was muttering numbers under her breath over and over. 17, 4, 0, 17, 4. Then the clock hit 3:40, and the room fell inward. Everything folded, not the walls, reality. I don't know how to describe it. 1 second we were standing, the next we were sliding, not downward, not sideways, just away, like we'd been pushed through a page in a book someone was trying to tear out. And then it all stopped. I opened my eyes, and the school was gone. We were in a building that looked like a school, but wasn't. The walls pulsed gently like lungs. The floor had no texture, just smooth, featureless gray that reflected faint ripples like water. There were doors, but none with handles, windows that showed only static, hallways that curved into themselves like paper folded too many times. And they were already there. The teachers, silent, still, lined up at the ends of corridors, standing in locker rows, watching corners, their heads twitching subtly, like receivers picking up signals from a god no one had ever prayed to. One of them stood above the drinking fountain, another behind the nurse's counter, where there was a skeleton still wearing a student ID badge from 1995. I looked at Gavin. He looked at me. He just whispered, "No one escapes. But some things try." The girl was gone. I didn't even see her leave. We ran. Not fast. You can't run in this place. The more you try, the heavier your feet get, like the floor is punishing you for wanting to leave. We turned a corner and saw a hallway with no end, just repeating lockers and chairs floating in the air like underwater furniture. At the far end, I saw something moving, not walking, jumping. 2 children, skipping rope in perfect rhythm, eyes blacked out with scribbled shadows. They didn't notice us, but the rope did. It stopped in midair, twitched, and fell, and the hallway bent. I mean literally. It bent down, like it was folding us into a trap. We turned. Gavin pulled me into a stairwell I swear wasn't there before. There was a fire exit sign above, glowing red. "That's it," he shouted. "Move." We pushed through. The door flung open, into nothing, not outside, not another hallway, just a classroom. And in the middle of it, Gavin, another one. Same clothes, same hair, just grinning. The real Gavin behind me froze. The other Gavin walked forward. Behind him, more of them came out of the walls. Versions of us, copies, smiling. broken, eyes glazed, and then the teachers entered behind them, surrounding us. No faces, no sound. Gavin ran. I didn't. I looked at the other me, the one walking toward me with a mouth just a little too wide, hands twitching slightly off time, and I whispered, "I'm not staying." And the version of me said, "You already are." I closed my eyes. When I opened them, it was 4:10. I was back in the original detention room. No Gavin, no girl, no teachers. Just the desk and a piece of paper on it. Folded once, written in red ink. You may leave, but you left something behind. I don't remember getting home, but every time I pass a mirror, I flinch. Because sometimes my reflection walks just a second too late. And every day at 3:40 p.m., I feel the floor beneath me shift just slightly, like the school remembers, and one day it'll pull me back